So if you don't know, the Sinful Spoils cards are pretty damn good. In fact, they've pretty much been the only deck you can reasonably win events with. I thought there may have been some room for a few others, and maybe Fluke can still top here and there, but this is pretty much it. As a result, some prominent players and fans have been asking for an emergency ban. An E-ban is pretty simple. While usually Konami ban lists happen every few months-ish or no later than BS, Konami randomly hits something that is going to be way out of control, usually quite quickly. Side note, I don't know why a company is so vague about their own product ban list, but that's a totally different topic for now. Now, does this format need an E-ban? I think the best way to answer that question is to look at the times Konami has or hasn't decided to step in when a Tier 0 deck is out of control. The first E-ban in Yu-Gi-Oh's history was Cyberstein. In the very beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh, cheating out a 4500 attack fusion monster with a normal summon and being able to go for game with Megamorph was just way beyond what the meta could handle. Printing this card was pretty stupid, but not as stupid as unbanning it just in time for dumb FTKs or being used with Sprite Elf to make this. No, dude, you don't understand. Keep going. After the 5th spell activation, you'll surely get through it, man. But let's try and use something more contemporary. The modern day ones from memory are the 2016 Pepe list, the 2017 Spiral ban, and the 2019 Everything ban list. All of these lists had one major thing in common though. All of these Tier 0 decks made an insane 15-minute combo board which made games feel like a coin flip. Pepe, or Performapal Performage, used Damage Juggler to search anything in the archetype, and the non-once-per-turn effect of Plushfire to spam out infinite material for Ptolemaeus. Ptolemaeus' effect let you rank up into Cyber Dragon Infinity, which gave you an Omni-Negate for the price of 3 level 4 monsters. The deck also had an endless recursion, as with the old Pen rules you could summon 5 from the extra deck back to the board every turn. This was so insane at the time the deck got 3 cards banned, 3 cards limited, after 3 months of being released. Lucky us, I guess. The 2017 E-ban was pretty similar, as Spiral was a 40-minute insane combo board that ended on a million negates and a towers, making it almost the worst gameplay Yu-Gi-Oh has seen. But it was the 2019 list that made me take a break from the game. Spiral was not enough. We had to go even further beyond. From a combination of token spawners that were released years before Link summoning was even a thing, some of the most poorly designed boss monsters in Gumblar and Rongo, and Soul Charge existing, you just hand-looped your opponent before they had a chance to play, or ended on a boss monster that couldn't be outed realistically. I can't stress enough just how incredibly unfun this era of Yu-Gi-Oh was, and it took around until 2021 for Konami to realize as well, which is why even the Tier 0 combo decks don't put up 1,000 negates, they put up different types of interactions, destruction, banishing, etc. It's a good change of pace, and has given the game more room for interesting going second staples and board breakers. Also, if you're enjoying the video so far, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. I love discussing with the community anything and everything Yu-Gi-Oh related, and I'd like to continue going forward. Thank you. Now, I don't think Tier 0 formats inherently are always a bad thing. Hot take, I really liked the tier mirror matches a ton. It was a lot of fun to play, and it taught me to think ahead and risk-reward balance more than most other formats. Sure, there was no variation, but I didn't have to sit through an Adamancipator or Drytron combo I either had the out to or lose before I even had the chance to play. But tier was the exception, not the rule. Most Tier 0 formats feel way more sacky. Either the person going first is going to instantly win, or your blowout hand trap is going to play the game for you. This sounds like Yugi Boomer rhetoric, so I want to be clear that the people who think the game is still like that are wrong. But that's why we didn't get an E-ban for tier, and it's not super likely we will get one for Snake Eyes. But what do I think about this format personally? We need to E-ban something out of this deck, Jesus. They already clearly have plans to print more support and lore cards for this archetype, and if we don't curve something soon, there's not going to be a point in looking forward to anything else in the near future. Yeah, it doesn't meet the same requirements as the other E-ban examples. Who cares? It's all arbitrary on what gets banned and what doesn't, so it doesn't matter. The biggest problem is that these Tier 0 formats were way too close to each other. We just had a long Tier 0 format with Ishizu tier. Hell, tier is still a top deck until the most recent ban list. And if I have to do another take with the words tier and tier in the same sentence multiple times, I think I'm gonna pass out. Konami, name your OP archetype something more clear, like Interplanetary Purpley Thorn. Anyway, we can't have another Tier 0 format so soon from the last. We need some diversity in how we play the TCG. I understand why pro players don't like super diverse formats, and yeah, I think there's a good medium Konami has achieved before. Hell, pre-Age of Overlord, I think the format was in an amazing spot. Rescue Ace, Unchained, Labyrinth, Tier, Flu, and so many more were topping events consistently. It was a great time to play. There was diversity, but there was also a more centralized metagame that had so much potential to develop. But since AGOV, the price of playing right now has skyrocketed. It doesn't help that if you want to play Snake Eyes, it will run you over $1,000 right now. I tried to make a list of what you might be able to make work at a regional or even YCS level, but it feels more and more like copium. This doesn't even go into how bad it must be to play the TCG if you're in another region where SP can cost 2 weeks of pay. How the hell is this entire region supposed to play the game right now? At major events, more affluent people can just show up and beat better players because the price difference of cards compared to their salary. This is a problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole, but in a Tier 0 format it is especially awful, as only one set of cards are in demand. If you want to see a vid on how I would fix Yu-Gi-Oh!'s pricing problem, please comment below. But to sum it up, I hope this format does not last a long time, or this will be remembered as another dark time in Yu-Gi-Oh!'s history. Thank you all for watching, please like and subscribe. This is BreadBoyWeeb signing out.